Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. Really excited for today's video. The beer is courtesy of Billy. Thanks so much, Billy. I really appreciate it. And it's Saturday. And on Saturdays, I do Cellar Saturday, where I drink something off the shelves in my cellar. So yeah, this is a little bit of a cheat because I'm not the one who aged it, I suppose. But technically speaking, once I did the unboxing, I did put it on my shelf. So I did take it off my shelf to drink. So yeah, I'm so excited for this beer. I'm like, yeah, let me just do it for Cellar Saturday. It's from 2013 and it has Cellar in the name, so I think it's just too perfect not to do today. It's Old Stock Ale from North Coast. Again, it's from 2013. It's their Cellar Reserve ale aged in bourbon barrels, 14.1% ABV. Let's see. Old Stock Cellar Reserve is a small batch, limited release that has been aged in bourbon barrels. The aging process gives this world-class beer an added layer of complexity. A memorable drink that should be enjoyed as a completely unique offering. So easy to read that label. Thank you, North Coast. All right. So 8 years. Well, actually, this will be released New Year's Day, right? That's exciting. Oh, sorry. I should smell the cork. Corky. It's got the nice, medium to deep brown color as I'm pouring it. Kind of what I'm looking for in this style. Barely any head. I mean, maybe it's sticking to the side of the glass more than the center, so it looks like half a finger probably a head, but it's barely skimming across the liquid at this point. I don't know, light manila folder kind of color. Actually kind of khaki. It's very they're not compact bubbles, so there's a lot of air and space, so it seems a little, it makes the color a little harder to identify because it's not as solid, it's like super compact bubbles. Anyway, I saw Joe from the Beer Patrol. I love the description. He was doing the barley wine. I forget the name of it. It was Candle Bright from Hot Butcher. He said it looks like like melted caramels, and that's what this looks like. Better than saying doo-doo water like Matt for Massive, which it does look like. It's got that brown, just like I was saying when I poured it out. Like a medium on the outside brown, and then the inside's a little bit more just dark brown. No black whatsoever. Yeah, very much like a deep caramel color. Let's see about the aroma. Oh, that smells good. Speaking of caramel, I get some caramel, and I'm actually getting some of that bourbon, which is nice. Some vanilla. A lot of dried fruit, dates and raisins. I get a little bit of fig, which is nice. Some molasses. Man, there's a lot. There's like a lot going on in this aroma. This is really pleasant. 8 years in a bottle. Things could go sideways. Could really mellow. It could really meld together. You got a lot of factors. A lot of ways that this beer could go, right? And at least based on the aroma, it went in a good direction because this smells fantastic. A little bit of toffee. You get that caramelized sugars, like brown sugar a little bit too. Man. And yeah, just a little bit like with that. It's what I've been getting. I get molasses in beers like this lately. The molasses is tied a little bit to this savory element. It's not soy sauce. Don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of sweetness to this, but it's not overly sweet, and it's kind of through this molasses savory element. I don't remember how hopped this beer is. It's fresh, but do I detect a little bit of pine needle as well, maybe? But yeah, it's mostly the sweet, the dried fruits, the caramel, those burnt, caramelized sugars. It's the vast majority. That's what this smell is. But there's some other stuff going on. It's pleasant. It was pleasant, but then it's adding a little bit of complexity, which is cool too. It's not just sweet, period. Man, I could just keep smelling this. This is definitely one of those beers. If you could make a candle scent after a beer, I would pick this beer. This would be a really nice scented candle. All right. I could keep doing that, telling you more and more stuff. I'm confident of that. But let's get into the taste. Cheers. Thanks again, Billy. Yeah, it's nice. That's really nice. Man. I kind of want to set it down, but I kind of want another sip. It's really good. It's like the aroma. Well, in a couple ways, I mean that. I think everything I got in the aroma, I'm getting in the taste. It's also like the aroma where I could have just kept smelling it and picking out different things. Same thing is going to be true of this taste. Like, this is one of those beers that, you know, some of the longer format, you know, James, I know Matt from Massive wants to get into it, where you kind of just sit with a beer and just keep talking about it, you know, talk about some other stuff, come back to the beer in that long format. This would be a good beer for that because you will be able to just keep picking up different things. Anyway, what are some things I'm picking up in this beer? You do get a lot of that caramelized sugar in all those different ways, which is awesome. You get some of those dried fruits. You get that fig element a little bit. You get some alcohol, which is nice. Like I was saying about the aroma, you do get some of that molasses savory thing. You get that molasses, which helps dry out this beer. You get some alcohol. The bourbon barrel aging, I do get some bourbon, but the oak is also helping to kind of keep the sweetness in check. So yeah, there's sweet elements to this, but it's very much harmonious. The time, and this is, I'm trying to think of my, like when you age a beer like this, or age any of these beers, you know, like what are you hoping to accomplish? One of the biggest things I'm hoping to accomplish is if it's a beer like this that has a lot of different flavors, it can work fresh, but over time, if they can meld together and become a little bit more harmonious instead of just like fireworks of awesome flavors, but kind of like more like, yeah, in harmony working together, that's a real, I like the fireworks thing, don't get me wrong, but I really like the aging when it can meld. And this beer has melded into something really beautiful. And I don't think you're losing those firework, you know, here's a shot of the caramel, here's a shot of molasses, here's a shot of... You're not losing any of those flavors you got that way, but they're working better together. Oh my goodness, you know, I've been really fortunate with these Cellar Saturday, and I know this wasn't from my cellar, beers where I've had way more hits than misses. You know, again, you know, you age beer, you are rolling the dice. You know, you might get a one that doesn't age well. But I tell you what, I have hit more than I have missed with this. And this beer, I mean, it's just so good. A deep, dark cherry note. Actually, it's funny when I said cherry, I can get even a little bit like a sherry note. Just made me think because they rhyme. So you get it like a, yeah, like that sherry that you can get like in a Utopias or whatever, or in sherry, obviously, but like in beer form. Yeah, this is phenomenal. This is phenomenal. Thanks, Billy. Seriously, man. This beer is so good. It's stupid good. Has aged beautifully. Yeah, thank you. I hope you're having a Happy New Year. Have you had this beer before? Have you had a beer like this? Have you had a really good beer you want to tell me about? Anything, everything, comment section below. Let's get a conversation going. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out on Instagram and Untappd. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both those places. So always please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.